Hello and welcome to Insights to Opportunity. I'm your host, Carlicia Wright, Director of the Office of Business Opportunity. As a part of Mayor Nice Parker's vision to create a competitive and diverse business environment in the City of Houston, this program will provide information on contracting opportunities, events, and resources that educate, connect, and grow local, small, minority, and women-owned businesses. The Houston Minority Supplier Development Council, also known as HMSDC, is a non-for-profit organization for minority businesses and major corporations interested in establishing relationships with each other and helping minority business enterprises successfully grow and expand their businesses. HMSDC facilitates various programs and events to achieve their mission, including the annual Expo Marketplace, designed for major corporations and minority business enterprises to have a common meeting place where introductions are made, needs explored, solutions identified, and businesses conducted. Here with us today to talk about HMSDC and the services the organization provides is HMSDC President Mr. Richard Hubner and President of Taylor Construction Management, Mr. Troy Taylor. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So, Richard, can you talk a little bit about HMSDC, how long and why it was established?
Sure. HMSDC was established 42 years ago by 13 Houston-based corporations. The intent at that time, as it is today, was to stimulate the economic development of minority communities by helping to create viable businesses in those communities, by fueling the growth of those businesses with corporate expenditures, so that as those businesses grow, they create jobs, economic self-sufficiency, a broadened tax base for the community, lower tax rate, and increased purchasing power for other goods and services, in essence creating an economic engine that fuels the development of the community, the city, state, and nation.
So you've come a long way in 42 years. So you had 13 corporations back then. Tell me about how many corporations you have now and how many businesses you serve.
Sure. We have 178 major corporations operating in the Houston area and over 600 certified minority-owned businesses that we serve.
Wow, that's pretty big. And so now, Mr. Taylor, you're Taylor Construction Management. Can you talk about your role and your relationship with HMSDC?
Sure. So Taylor Construction Management and myself in particular are fortunate enough to be the MBE chair for this year's Expo. Additionally, we've been associated with the council for a few years now, and we were talking earlier, in just that short time through relationship and building business and growing deeper relationships with other MBEs, we do about 95% of our internal outsourcing and networking for legal, for accounting with other MBEs. And not only that, we're managing just over $1 billion in Texas alone through relationships that we gained through HMSDC.
Wow, that's amazing. And so you said a couple things. So I'm going to ask Richard about that. So Richard, he mentioned Expo, and so I talked a little bit about Expo. Expo is a pretty big event. So can you talk about that and why businesses in the Houston area would be interested in attending Expo and what value it adds to businesses?
Sure. So Expo brings together about 1,500 business leaders from Houston, about evenly divided between minority business owners and representatives of major corporations, government agencies, and resource organizations. And the intent is to really surround the minority-owned business with the information, the insight, and the relationships that will drive long-term business, sustainable business growth.
Now, how does one become a member or a business with HMSDC? So Mr. Taylor is a business with HMSDC, so Taylor Construction Management, and you mentioned 600 businesses, so can you talk about that?
Sure. The first step in our process is certification. Certification for generally the private sector, a certification that's accepted statewide and nationally by any major corporation, that the company is legitimately minority-owned, managed, and controlled. We have a reciprocity agreement to some extent with the City of Houston, where we accept each other's certification, and we can expedite certification of our firms with the city or the city's firms with us. So the first process to sort of get into the swing of things with the Houston Minority Supplier Development Council is to get a valid certification as a minority business enterprise.
Okay, that's great. So a business has to become certified, and you're right. So we have this reciprocal relationship, this fast track certification, and so we're hoping that we can leverage the certification so that folks that are interested in doing government work, they can get certified with the city, and our businesses that are interested in doing private corporation work can do that business, and they can connect you to that. So, Mr. Taylor, you have you've got a very interesting history. I remember meeting you a few years back when you first started Taylor Construction Management, and it was just a few years back. So, can you talk a little bit about your journey and how HMSDC has helped you in the journey? And I also know that you had a recent recognition, so I'm interested to learn about that as well.
Right. So, our firm is just over 4.5 years old. And we're based here in Houston, but we started internationally. So for the first few years, we did projects throughout mainland China, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, Munich, Germany, and we were pretty content. Two small kids, and they would always say, "Dad, it'd be nice if you drove to work versus fly to work." And so we wanted to get a national footprint. And then through the relationship with HMSDC that started for us just about 4 years ago, Dick sat down with me immediately and said, "Look, how can we help you? What do you do?" He really wanted to understand our business as a project management consulting firm. And then through organizations and committees in the council, we started to network and build relationships. And before long, we had corporate firms, private sector firms, reaching out to us saying, "Look, how can we do business with you? Because we like what you stand for. We like the value that you're adding within the council, and we'd like to benefit from that in our organizations."
Wow. So now earlier this year, I'm familiar with this EB10. And so, Richard, can you talk a little bit about EB10 and talk about Mr. Taylor and other businesses?
So our Emerging 10 is an award that where we recognize and actually tell the story to publicly of 10 companies that have achieved success, overcome obstacles, and are paying it back in the community. And so we find it stimulating, inspiring, and informative to other minority businesses and to the corporations and to the community at large to see these success stories, and that they're not getting business because they're minority-owned businesses. They're getting businesses because they're really good, and they pay back and make this a better quality of life for everybody in the city.
Well, these are all the great reasons why a business should get involved. And so, Mr. Taylor, I attended an event earlier this year where you were recognized as one of Houston's 40 under 40. So you started your business 4 years ago, and already you're getting citywide recognition. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. That was a pretty fun deal. And what's neat is you talk about 39 other companies, firms, entrepreneurs, executives within the business community, and it was really a neat networking platform for us to now learn and benefit from each other's resources.
Well, great. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carlicia.
Great conversation. Thank you.
Up next, we'll take a look at one of the most exciting sporting events to come to Houston and how it will impact the small business community. Stay tuned for Insights to Opportunity. Obtaining legal advice for small businesses can be costly and stressful. The City of Houston's Office of Business Opportunity announced a partnership with the Association of Pro Bono Counsel, Vincent & Elkins, and community organizations to establish the Virtual Legal Lab. The Virtual Legal Lab is the first of its kind, giving small businesses the opportunity to schedule one-on-one Skype sessions with pro bono attorneys for any business-related questions they may have. Small businesses can ask questions on a variety of topics, including employment law basics, independent contractor versus employee, insurance and contracts, and entity selection. Appointment scheduling is on a first-come, first-served basis. Attorneys are also available to speak to small businesses in other languages. For more information or to schedule an appointment, please go to HoustonTX.gov/OBO and click on the Virtual Legal Lab link. Welcome back to Insights to Opportunity. One of the nation's most prominent college sporting events is the NCAA's Men's Final Four. More than 300 NCAA colleges and universities are initially eligible for selection, and so 68 teams are selected through various conference regular seasons, postseason tournaments, or at-large selections by the NCAA's Men's Basketball Committee. In 2008, the NCAA Men's Basketball Committee selected Houston and NRG, formerly Reliant Stadium, as the site for the 2016 Final Four. Houston has formed what is called the Houston Local Organizing Committee to work in conjunction with the NCAA as it's planned for the upcoming Final Four in 2016. The Houston Local Organizing Committee is a local organization which works with the NCAA on a daily basis to help host the Final Four. The NCAA also desires to make an impact on the local community that it is hosting. Not only is it prestigious for a city to host the Final Four, but tens of thousands of visitors are responsible for an estimated direct spend of about $150 million. Here with us today from the Houston Local Organizing Committee to discuss the opportunities for small businesses during the NCAA Final Four is Senior Director of Community Relations, Risa Hall. Risa, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much for coming. So can you talk about, the Final Four and the impact that it has when a city brings it? Because this isn't your first Final Four that you've actually worked on.
No, this is my third, actually. I was also on staff for the 2011 Final Four, which was the last time Houston hosted this event. And so it is a big deal. I mean, it's one of the premier sporting events in the world, not only the nation. And so all eyes will be on Houston in the spring as a part of the whole March Madness phenomenon. So Houston can expect 70,000 plus visitors that will come into the city ready to cheer on their team.
Wow. And so how many teams are we expecting in the Final Four? The
Final Four, yes. So 4 teams will be selected here to compete for the championship, which is a coveted title, obviously. And so we'll be here to welcome them with open arms.
Okay, so there are a couple things that folks will be interested. So exactly what week in 2016 is the Final Four? So those of us that are basketball enthusiasts and have teams to root for.
Yes. So the games will happen on Saturday, April 2nd. Those will be the semifinal games at NRG Stadium, and the championship game will be held on Monday, April 4th.
Okay, so April 2nd and April 4th, 2016.
2016.
So businesses, restaurants, everyone get ready for the visitors that we've got coming to Houston.
Yes, absolutely. We really want to show them great hospitality. We want them to come back. So that customer service experience is very important. It's a very important of this event being executed well.
Good, good, good. So now, what we want to talk about is you're the Senior Director of Community Relations. What does that mean? How are you relating to the community?
Right, sure. No, so I'm responsible for all of our community programming. So from youth programs and events, educational programs, also our Minority Women Business Enterprise Access Program. All of those things are important for the community, and we want to identify opportunities for the community to get involved and for locals to feel like they are a part of this event.
Oh, wow. So you mentioned minority and women, so those are trigger words on this show. This is Insights to Opportunity.
Yes.
And so our businesses are interested in how they can become involved. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So what we've done is partnered with 3 certifying agencies here locally, City of Houston being one of them, also the Houston Minority Supplier Development Council and the Women's Business Enterprise Alliance. So any opportunities that we have as it relates to the Final Four, not necessarily within NRG Stadium, but outside at some of the ancillary events that we'll be hosting as well at Discovery Green Park and George R. Brown Convention Center, there will be some opportunities for local businesses to get involved. And so whenever we come across those opportunities, or when we are sending out requests for proposals or just requests for quotes, we will send those through the 3 certifying agencies I mentioned.
Okay, so we already had Houston Minority Supplier Development Council on the show, and they talked about the value of their certification. The City of Houston audience also has a certification, so if you're not certified, get certified. You can find out more about our certification at www.houstontx.gov/OBO. And so certification sounds like it's essential for participating in Final Four. We've been actually sending out some of the RFPs for Final Four. So can you talk about some of the opportunities that you expect that businesses can be involved in?
Right, and I know right now, so we're looking for modular offices or portable toilets, also large format printing and installers. For some of the awards that we've already, or some of the bids we've already awarded, we've selected a videographer and a photographer that'll really work with us from now up until the Final Four, because we'll be hosting various promotional types of events, and I mentioned community events and programmings that we've started hosting those types of things back or earlier this fall, so back in September. And so we are really wanting to engage the local community and create this rolling thunder, if you will, so people know that it's coming. And so there's plenty of more opportunities that will become available. And again, we'll just communicate those opportunities through the certifying agency.
Oh, well, great. So the City of Houston will continue to partner with you to make sure we get those opportunities out. So those are the direct opportunities. Can you talk about the economic impact that an event like Final Four actually has on the city and the types of, I guess, venues that actually benefit from that so that we can be ready for that?
Right, sure. So the direct spend is estimated at $150 million. And so with 70,000 plus visitors coming in from out of town, the lodging in hotels is a big part of that. And so of course then they need somewhere to eat, they need somewhere to kind of conjure and have fun and have a good time, and shopping and all of that goes right into that. So I think any restaurants and shopping centers downtown and in the Galleria area, they will definitely see the fans coming in through their doors.
No, this sounds like an amazing event, an amazing opportunity. So where can someone learn about information about doing business with the Final Four in addition to the certifying agencies? Is there a website that they have?
Yes. So the NCAA has a website. It's ncaa.com/Final Four. That'll actually be updated with all of the local Houston information this coming Monday. So everything you need to know about the Final Four and how you can get involved and opportunities to get involved and just information about the events will be posted on that website.
Thank you so much, Risa, for coming on the show.
Sure. This was great. Thank you so much, Carlicia, for having me on today.
Well, there you have it. Final Four 2016, the weekend of April 2nd through April 4th. Businesses, get ready. Up next, a representative from the Office of Business Opportunity will stop by to discuss the City of Houston's Meet the Buyer Purchasing Forum. Stay tuned. A very important part of the Office of Business Opportunity is the Houston Airport Systems Office of Business Opportunity Division. The Houston Airport Systems Office of Business Opportunity Division is responsible for promoting the utilization of disadvantaged business enterprises on Department of Transportation and Federal Aviation Administration financially assisted contracts. The Houston Airport Systems Office of Business Opportunity Division is also responsible for inclusion of airport concessionaire disadvantaged business enterprises on concessions at each airport, and for improving and increasing access to Houston Airport Systems contracts and procurement opportunities. If you would like more information, please visit their website at flytohouston.com/Office of Business Ops. Welcome back to Insights to Opportunity. On Thursday, December 10th, 2015, City of Houston departments will come together to host the 7th annual Meet the Buyer Purchasing Forum. This event will be held at the George R. Brown Convention Center from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., and registration will begin at 8 a.m. The Meet the Buyer Purchasing Forum provides an ultimate opportunity for small businesses to connect with actual buyers from city departments who routinely solicit bids in order to meet their procurement needs. There will also be information presented on city procurement processes and the requirements. The forum will feature on-site vendor registration and information on current and upcoming purchasing needs and contracting opportunities, as well as information on certification. Here with us to talk about it is our very own Business Development Manager, Mr. Will Norwood.
How you doing?
Thank you for coming on the show, Will.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
So tell me, you're in the department, right? Mm-hmm. And so you've been doing Meet the Buyer for a couple years now. Can you talk about the purpose of Meet the Buyer?
Well, Meet the Buyer is one of those events where we try to bring out all of the City of Houston departments and their buyers, purchasers, and other agencies so that we can give small businesses the access that they need to understand the procurement process with the City of Houston, other government agencies, and also just to talk about upcoming opportunities as far as contracts and solicitations.
Okay, so talk about how many businesses come out, how many purchasing agents come out, what type of departments are there?
Wow, so every City of Houston department is represented at this event. We have over 100 buyers that are there. We also have community partners that come out, like Houston Minority Supplier Development Council, Women's Business Enterprise Alliance, Port of Houston, and others. As far as the businesses are concerned, each year we have about 400 businesses or so, and we're looking to grow that number even this year.
Now, why is this a critical event for businesses to come to?
Well, sometimes with small businesses, it seems like it's a hard process just to understand procurement opportunities with the city. And this gives them ultimate access to meet the people who actually put out the solicitations, the ones to connect with, the ones who make the decisions. So it's a good chance for them to meet the people who really are involved and engaged in the procurement process with the City of Houston. And so this is where they can find out, from the horse's mouth, if you will, about upcoming opportunities in their departments and find out what are the things that they need to do to prepare for them.
Okay, so how many times a year do we have this type of event?
So this is a once in a year event. So December 10th is the time and the place and where you want to be for Meet the Buyer. We do it every year. This is our 7th annual Meet the Buyer event, so it's been growing every year. We've been adding different community partners to come out. We've been adding different small businesses, so people are getting a chance to know more about it, and it's growing every year.
Now, is this event just for, you talked about certification, or we talked about certification earlier. Is it just for certified vendors, or who's invited to this event?
Well, all small businesses are invited to this event. Now, we have a special emphasis on our small minority and women-owned certified businesses, so we send it out to them, but we encourage all small businesses who want to just learn about how to do business with the city, who want to connect and see where the dollars are going in the City of Houston. This is the place that they need to be.
Now, I know we're not going to talk about the surprise that we'll have there.
Right,
but
right.
We are planning for a big time opportunities for businesses, and so it's an event we definitely don't want them to miss.
It's an event that you definitely do not want to miss, because we have some special guests that we're going to be there. This is a little different from what we've done in previous years, so we're inviting some people outside of the city to come and talk about some opportunities, and so it's going to be really exciting this year.
Now, you mentioned community partners, but I do want to share, when I looked at the roster of organizations that are coming, we also have Houston First Corporation.
Yes, Houston First Corporation is going to be there, and they have a lot of opportunities that's going on right now, and those opportunities are available for small minority and women-owned businesses. And so they'll be engaged with the business community to talk about upcoming events, different things that they have going on at the George R. Brown, different hotels that are being built. So there's a lot of activity and excitement, especially in downtown Houston, but also just in the greater Houston area. And so Houston First is one of our partners that's going to be there, and we love to have them, and we try to partner with them as much as we can to talk about access to those opportunities too.
Now, I'm sure folks will be interested. We had Risa Hall, I don't know if you know, but we had Risa Hall on the show earlier today from the NCAA Final Four. Now, so I'm hoping that we can invite partners like NCAA with them around the corner. That would be interesting. I think some of the businesses that are watching today would love to get in touch with them.
Right, and so we're going to invite them to be a guest and have a table at Meet the Buyer as well, because there might be some opportunities that's still available at that time. I know that March Madness is around the corner and Final Four is around the corner, so but they could still have some opportunities for small businesses, and we want them to be there just to answer any questions that they might have. And so that's the main thing. A lot of small businesses have different questions just about how things work, where they can get access, and this is just the ultimate chance for them to get those questions answered.
No, I'm excited just in general, Will, about this show, because we had HMSDC that talked about certification and what they do, and they'll be at our Meet the Buyer Forum. We had Final Four, they were talking about the opportunities, and we're going to try to get them there as well.
Right.
We've got some special guests that are coming, and so we think collectively there's a couple $2 billion worth of opportunities that we'll be able to expose.
Yes. You have the Houston Airport System with all the projects going on over there, Public Works, General Services Department, and then even some of the smaller departments that people might not know about, but have opportunities as well. Housing and Community Development, you have Department of Neighborhoods, Parks, Health and Human Services, so they'll all be represented. But not only that, for those businesses that do business with other businesses, so you have that connection. You just want to be in a room where a lot of businesses are gathered and trying to find out opportunities. So you have on one hand companies that are looking to do business with government agencies, but on the other hand, those businesses that support companies that do business with government agencies. This would be an ultimate place for you to go to connect as well.
Now, what does on-site registration mean, or how does someone actually go about registering for Meet the Buyer? Is the on-site registration for registering on, just tell me about that.
So we're going to have on-site registration for people who did not get a chance to register online, and so they can come up to Meet the Buyer. We want to just make it easy for them to be there. So, but you can register on our website, www.houstontx.gov/OBO. We've also been sending out emails to our database of over 2,600 certified companies and other people who just have a general interest in our department. So we've been sending it out to them. We're sending it out to other partners out there so they can send out the information too. So there's multiple ways you can find out about what's going to be going on.
No, this is very exciting. So talk about, I mean, just really quickly, we've got to go. But before we go, vendor registration. So in order to do business, talk about what that quickly, just tell us what that process is.
So that process is through Strategic Procurement Division, and you can go to purchasing.houstontx.gov and start the process there. So first you'll have to create a username and password. You'll take that username and password and then put that in to finish the registration process. And once you do that, you can connect NA or NIGP codes, which kind of puts what industry you're in. So you can attach that to your profile so that people can identify you.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Will.
Thank you.
Well, that's our show for today. Please join us next time to learn more about the opportunities with the City of Houston on Insights to Opportunity.